Banks don't want you to know how their approval process actually gets you $50,000 to $150,000 of 0% interest business funding. I've helped hundreds of business owners get funded, and I can tell you that it has nothing to do with how hard you work or how good your credit score actually is. It comes down to 7 things that banks will never tell you. And number 5 is the reason most people leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table without realizing it. Let's get into it. Secret number 1, banks track how you've treated your cards over the last 6 to 12 months, not just where you're at today. Most people think I'll just pay my cards down to 30% or below right before I apply and I'll be fine. But they don't realize that banks see your balance history. If you've been maxed out for 2 to 3 years and then all of a sudden you just pay it down and go to apply, banks can already see all of that history and how you've been treating your cards. Specifically, if your Chase personal card has been maxed out for years and then you want to go to apply, Chase will see that and they will judge you on it. The actionable fix is to start paying your cards down 6 months before you actually want to apply, not just right before. Use different cards, rotate the balances. Don't just charge everything on one card that maybe you like or gives you the most points if you're planning to get more funding later. Rotate it and mix it up to keep all the balances relatively low, ideally under 30% at all times. Pay attention to which banks you're carrying a balance with. For example, if you're going to be applying for Chase Business Credit and you have Chase personal cards, it's going to be smart to keep those balances low well before ever applying. If you're using other banks or smaller banks that you're not planning on getting funding for, that we don't advise you to get funding from, then you can use those cards more frequently. But when it comes time to apply, those balances are still going to have to be below 30% as well. For example, I have a client that had this exact same situation. They had personal Chase cards and business Chase cards on another LLC that were completely maxed for a long time. We got them a loan, they paid everything down and went to apply, and the results were not great. The reason is because they could see it. Chase knew, they could see all the history that the balances had been maxed out for a long time. So then we had to wait a few months and try again and had much better success. Secret number 2, your business bank account history matters even though nobody asks for statements. With stated income products, people just assume that the banks can't see their account activity and they don't know what's going on. But some banks have internal systems where they can see the deposit history, the transaction history, and all the activity in your bank account if it's with that bank. Chase has an internal scoring system. So if you open up a bank account and you deposit anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 in that bank account and let it sit for a few weeks, then your scoring goes way up. And the longer you wait, the better. The more activity in that account is only going to improve your approval odds. Open a business checking account with Chase or whichever bank you're going to be applying to. Deposit $3,000 to $5,000 in that. Let it sit for a few weeks prior to applying and show activity. Use the card. If you have a debit card, use that for smaller transactions. Break up your deposits. If you have $5,000 to put in there or even 10 or more, deposit it at different times, showing activity, spend money out of it, buy lunch, whatever the case is, but you need to build activity within those bank accounts. Even if you're not banking there, opening that account creates that relationship footprint with those banks. Some banks it's not as big of a deal, but the big tier 1 banks, it matters. This costs you nothing. The money's still yours, but it's just signaling to the bank that you're a real customer and you want to be there long term. Secret number 3, you can remove business credit card inquiries from your personal report and do a second or third round. Most people think that once you get funded, you're done and you have to wait years before you can get more. What they don't know is that those business credit cards, they don't report to your personal credit report, but the inquiries do. And those inquiries can be removed from your personal profile after the fact because there's no attached account showing on your credit report, just an empty inquiry. Once those inquiries are cleaned up, you can do a second round of funding, recommending 3 to 4 months later on a different LLC. And just make sure that those first round of business credit cards you got are below 50% utilization, and you can get the same ones on another LLC. Actionable timeline. Round 1 of funding, use the cards responsibly, use them, pay them down, delete inquiries, wait 3 to 4 months, and do a second round of funding on another LLC. You need a second LLC for this, but opening one takes less than a week. And if you have another one already, then that one can be used. Secret number 4, banks have secret pre-qualification portals that don't touch your credit. Most business owners just go straight to the application page and apply, and then this causes a hard inquiry, whether you get approved or not. What banks don't advertise is that some of them have pre-qualification tools that use a soft pull that does not result in a hard inquiry on your credit. American Express has one, Capital One and Discover also have one, and many others do too. But keep in mind, Capital One Business Credit and Discover Business Credit can often report those cards to your personal credit, so be wary of those. Before you apply anywhere, check all of the pre-qualification portals and tools. This lets you see what banks are likely to approve you without burning any inquiries yet. And if you don't pre-qualify somewhere, then this just saves you a hard pull that could hurt your chances somewhere else. If you do pre-qualify somewhere, this gives you much higher confidence that you're going to get approved. This is free. It takes 5 minutes per bank, and most people don't even know that these portals exist. Secret number 5, you can get multiple cards from the same bank off of a single inquiry. Most people apply to one bank, get one card, one inquiry, and they think that's it. Certain banks allow multi-dipping, which is getting multiple products off of the single inquiry. Example, you walk into a bank, you apply for one card, they do a hard pull. From that hard pull, you can get a business credit card, a personal credit card, a personal loan, and a business line of credit. Chase does this, Bank of America does this, US Bank does this, and certain regional banks as well. When you apply at these banks, don't just apply for one card, apply for everything that you qualify for from that bank. If you have multiple LLCs, certain banks will pull your credit once and then issue you credit on each LLC. So you can have a business credit card on 3 different LLCs at once. Secret 6, there's a way to turn your 0% business credit into actual cash. 95% of your business expenses can go on the cards, marketing, inventory, other expenses, equipment, but that other 5% requires actual cash, like paying payroll, paying contractors, buying vehicles, down payments. Most people don't know that you can actually liquidate business credit cards into physical cash. Option 1, credit card liquidation companies, they charge on average of 5 to 6%, but they handle everything. Option 2, set up payment processing on a second LLC, holding company, or another business altogether. Company A, your business, pays Company B, your holding company, a consulting fee via credit card. So then the cash lands in Company B's bank account, which you also own. Start slow with the processor, 5 to 10K a month to warm it up. Don't just do huge transactions all at once. If you need cash, not just card spending power, set up the second LLC before even doing funding to start warming up the processor so you're ready to go. Secret 7, banks will increase the limits on your cards automatically if you use them correctly in the first 90 days. Getting approved is step 1, but most people don't realize the first 90 days is how the banks determine whether your limits go up or get frozen. Banks have internal behavior scoring that tracks how you use your cards within the first few months. What triggers automatic limit increases is consistent spending, not all at once, on-time payments, and keeping utilization rotating. So spend, pay down, spend, pay down. What triggers limit decreases is maxing out the card immediately and sitting on it, missing a single payment, or not using the card at all. Actionable strategy for the first 90 days, use 40 to 60% of your limit in month 1. Pay it down, use it again in month 2. Pay it down, show the bank that you're actively managing and using the credit. After 90 days of clean activity, most banks will proactively offer limit increases. This is how a 50K initial round can become 80 to 100K within 6 months without applying for anything new. Set up auto pay immediately. One late payment in the first 90 days and the banks will flag your account. If you're watching this and thinking, I want to know exactly how much funding my profile qualifies for, here's what I'd recommend. Click the link below to book a discovery call with our team. Link is in the description.